Hello, it is Shannon with iHeartRadio Canada. So good to see you.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
It's so great to meet you. I was just saying that I'm going to see you twice in 1 week, so this is a blessing for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and a chance to talk to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of your album. I'm so just obsessed with the story behind it. It's so incredible. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how the whole album came together?
Yeah, so I do come from like a journalism background as well, and so when the pandemic hit, I spent a year just talking to my grandfather, and I was working as a journalist, and so like I think it was, to bring you back to the exact moment, it was like January 25th, my birthday. I played a show, and I was playing with a different band at the time. Like, this is gonna be our year. And then everything shut down, and that was that. Yeah, I just decided I was just gonna like make music that I wanted to make and work on projects that I wanted to work on. And I didn't really know that it would, I would be making an album about my grandfather, because I was writing different songs at the time as well. But for this project, like I spent a year just having these daily conversations with him over the phone, and I just kind of set up this condenser mic. I knew there's probably better ways to record audio on a cell phone conversation, but I didn't know it at the time, so I just set up this mic and we just have these hour phone calls with him every morning before work. And it was like Christmas time where I was listening back to some of these recordings. We weren't allowed to like go back home for the holidays, so I was just kind of sitting there listening to these recordings, and there was just so much that just really struck me. Like a lot of these conversations we didn't have. Like his experiences growing up, being taken when he was 8, put into these schools, and I ended up writing a song about it, and then I wrote a couple songs, and I thought this would be something I'd be working on over the course of like 4 or 5 years when I had energy. Like you work in media, and there's something about working in news where like after 8 hours, some people get tired of watching the news for 1 hour. When you work in it for 8 hours, like it doesn't get any easier. Like I was drained. I
can't even imagine. That's why I went into like radio, because I was like, I can't. Yeah, that's
when you're just like telling stories about them. It really drains you. So I thought I'd be working on this album for like 4 to 5 years, but then, just by chance, I meet Shoshona and Amanda Rayom. I applied to play this International Indigenous Music Summit, and I sent in an application video, and they're just like, who is this person we never heard of? And they like hopped on a Zoom call, and they're like, we're starting this record label. What are you working on right now? And I said, like, I have this album that I'm working on. It's a project about like my grandfather, and I told them the context about it, and it was right kind of exactly the stories they're trying to share and tell, and so they're like, we're starting this record label and we'd like to sign you. And for context, record labels don't do that.
Right.
Like record labels will only sign you if you have 1 million streams on Spotify, if you're viral on TikTok, if you've done all the work. That's when record labels will come in, and so they signed me, and I didn't even have a record done. I just had a concept,
right, and
like a couple demos, and they're like, no, we believe in you, and we think you have a story that should be told, and so I got to work, and like I finished this record like probably within like 6 months.
Wow.
And we put it out in November, and I didn't really kind of know where it would go and where it would take me, since putting it out, like all the accolades or whatever, but like being able to travel the world and share stories and share meaningful stories, and it was really special to be able to put this record out the way I wanted to put it out, in the context, the sound, and so it was really special. I'm glad I got to do it. I'm not sure how many concept records are still being made.
Right.
So.
I know. It seemed like the stars aligned for you in a lot of ways, right? Do you think as a journalist that helped with the storytelling ability that is also a part of music?
100%.
Yeah.
You know what? Like there were a couple moments where I was like, oh, like maybe I should have just done music like 100% before, but I would not have made the record the way I made it had I not worked as a journalist for so long. So like that's a like some proof that sometimes things need to happen the way they need to happen.
Yeah,
there isn't specific timelines. Sometimes things just happen the way they need to. So
yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because you talk about having a near-death experience, and you talk about buying crypto that gave you the money to then apply for everything. So it seems like there is all these steps that got you to where you are, right? So do you believe in fate in that way? Like, do you believe that everything happens in the way that it should for a reason?
Definitely. Sometimes, and honestly, there is room for luck and stuff, but I think it's still a lot of hard work. Like, definitely, like, we're working really hard. But the crypto thing is funny because, like,
Coin.
I did this whole long interview, and that was like this tiny snippet of like one of the questions.
Oh, so everyone now brings up the crypto?
I think that the headline was like, musician gets crypto jackpot,
right?
And gets music career.
Yeah, I watched that.
And so I was like, it wasn't that much. I want to like,
preface. Yeah.
I want to clear that up. Like, I put $10 into the crypto thing, and then it like came out like $280 or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. And
so that I was paying off student debt, and so like I didn't want to like apply to do the summit. But then when I had this disposable money, I put in the application that I didn't know would kind of completely alter the trajectory of my life.
Something that you have talked about before too is dealing with stage fright. Is that something that you still deal with, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, definitely. I always kind of get nervous, and yeah, I don't think it ever. I hope it doesn't go away. Like I
hope
think
it doesn't.
I had a couple times where I felt like I just went up there and I was like sleepy. Like I think I still get stage fright, and it's like I compare it to like skydiving. Like, I don't like heights, but I will still make myself go skydiving. I'll still do rock climbing. I'll still go on suspension bridge and stuff. Like, you don't just like get over it. You just learn how to manage it. And so I still get stage fright, and I like it because I have this extra energy. Yeah,
totally. So. It like gives you those nerves, that adrenaline. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Thank you so much for chatting today. I wish we could talk all day, but I'm such a fan of your album. So congrats on everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Cheers. Nice.